What's up, e-bikers? Welcome to Crisscross. We do rides, reviews, and accessory videos here for e-bikers all across the country. And so hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. This is the Magnum Peak T7. I got introduced to Magnum e-bikes last year at the Electrify Expo on Long Island, where I test rode a few of them. And that was one of my favorite e-bikes that day that I rode, the T7 here. They make a wide variety of models, from cruisers to fat tires to folding electric bikes as well. And these are premium e-bikes, so if you want to spend a little bit more, but not too much, you can get a really good quality e-bike that fits your style. Most of their e-bikes prices are between $2,000 and $3,000, so a little bit, they're not the, I wouldn't put them in the budget category, but they're still pretty affordable as well. And I think this one here is $29.99. They do have a couple models as well, under $2K as well, in the $1,600, $1,700 range, I believe. So check them out if you're looking to get a higher quality e-bike from a company that's based here in the U.S. And has a presence here. So we'll get into the specs here on the T7, and this is a gravel e-bike essentially. So it's going to be has more of a singular purpose in my e-bike lineup. I have several e-bikes in my garage back here. And each one has a purpose, right? So this one is more for off-trail, logging trails, taking it on some adventures around that type of ride. And let's get into the specs and tell you what it has. All right, here's a look at that motor from Bafang. It's more of a flat motor, so it's a little bit bigger than you typically see on a rear hub. And it's got 11 gears down there. You can look at that big freewheel there for 11 speeds on this Magnum Peak T7. It's got a torque sensor, so you do get more of a regular bicycle feel when riding this thing, and that's definitely the case. You know, if you just pedal it casually, the wattage is in 150, 200 watts. As soon as you press down on that pedal, you'll hit the 400 or 500 watt power range pretty easily. And we'll show you that later in some ride footage. 35 to 65 miles is the range. And that's because of a 20 amp hour battery here in the down tube that sticks out a bit. They are Samsung cells, so good quality cells there. I don't think it's UL certified, but it's definitely a high quality e-bike battery that you don't typically find on most e-bikes. Top speed is 28 miles an hour. There's like a boost setting. You have to get into that to do 28, and I'll show you that on the ride footage. We've got what else? Front suspension here. Really good front suspension here from Suntour, the XCM 34 Boost, and pretty big travel range there. I'm not sure what the actual millimeters are, but it's pretty substantial. And I really enjoyed it so far, going over bumps and off-roading so far. The tires are CST Patrols, 27.5 by 2.8, so they're a little bit thinner than a fat tire. And I really like that dimension on this overall package. It's just a good-looking e-bike. I love the flared fenders. That's kind of what part of what sold me on this e-bike. It just looks cool. Putting together was a snap. Everything was basically on here except for the handlebars and the front fender there, and the pedals, I think, and that was it. So it was a snap to put together. I put on just a little triangle bag down here so far. I'll probably be upgrading the suspension seat post one day and a bottle cage boss, but doesn't really need much to kind of outfit it, in my opinion. The chain ring is a 42 tooth down here. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but no ghost pedaling at all so far. What else can I tell you about this thing? Let's look at the handlebar setup and go over that. All right, here's a look at the handlebar setup. We have a nice locking ergonomic grips here. We have hydraulic disc brakes, of course. I think those are Nut brand, I'm not sure. There is your left-hand thumb throttle, your control pad, up and down mode, power buttons down here, And here's the display. It's an LCD monochrome display with everything you need here. We've got the different levels of assist: Eco, Tour, Sport, Turbo, and then Boost. Those are the PS levels. You get your battery indicator here. There's no percentage or anything. The one thing I would like to see on this, or at least some voltage maybe. We've got the odometer and the time so far. I got 14 miles on the bike, and the battery still hasn't gone down yet, so that's what you get with that big 20 amp hour down there. It does stick out a little bit, as you can see. It's kind of what I call a lopsided design, but that's the only design-wise. It's the only kind of negative I would see about it. But it's a pretty good-looking e-bike for overall. Here's a look at the right side. We have again the ergonomic grips, your hydraulic brakes, and then the paddle shifter is kind of down here, below everything, below the handlebar. AX is the brand there on the gears and the derailleur and stuff. So very high quality there. There's a front light up front, right there, on the handlebars. I like that placement, really nice. Cable management is not bad. It's got this interesting kind of connector here, which I've never seen before on cable management. Makes things a little bit simpler, nicer, instead of just lumping them all together. But yeah, 11 speeds there, you can see on the Pro Max handlebar. Some of the geometry specs we should go over. Standover height 31 inches there, with that lower part of the down tube or top tube. Minimum seat height is 22 inches, so you can drop that seat post, that seat down all the way down to 22 inches. The bike is 74 inches long, and the minimum rider height 5'6" is the recommended minimum rider height. And it weighs 66 pounds. The battery itself weighs 9 pounds. So it's not too heavy. And again, it should be a nice hardtail electric mountain bike for most trails out there. So maybe not the hardcore single tracks, but we'll put it to the test certainly this summer. All right, let's get you one more walk around here of the Magnum Peak T7. The seat itself is pretty comfortable. It's fairly flat, but it's pretty long. Here's your charge indicator for the battery. Here's your key unlock. Another look at the freewheel back there, those 11 gears. KMC chain. Here's your controller box. The rear fender is pretty solid. I mean, it moves up and down. Doesn't move side to side at all, so it's flexible there. But I love that, just that look, that flared look that you get. And here's the front fender as well. You get a little front coverage, and then of course more in the rear back there. $180mm on the rotors with those hydraulic disc brakes. And then down below the seat tube here, there's actually feel the power, it says. Peak T7 here from Magnum. It's just a pleasure to ride this thing. It's pretty sweet. Speed is verified with the app, so no issues there. Let's go do some speed testing, hill testing, and you get a feel for what this bike is like to ride. It's very comfortable, first of all, even being a mountain bike. I feel it just fits me well. The grips seem a little bit a little bit longer here, so they feel a little bit more substantial when you're riding. Alright, let's put it into eco mode and just see what the PS levels are like. Oh, there's a car behind me. And we're doing 9 miles an hour, doing 100 watts on the meter there. Touring, we are doing about 10 miles an hour, so 150 watts on that. Sport, which is the middle one, it's the one I've been riding in the most so far. We're doing 350 watts, 300 watts, doing 12 miles an hour. Bumping up the turbo. And the wattage is around, it's really still 200, 150. We're doing 13.6. Once you start pedaling it harder, it's gonna kick in. And then boost finally, 347, 446 in the wattage. So, let's see what we're getting. I'm just basically moderately pedaling. I'm doing 15. Now if I really start to pedal, boom, it kicks up to 792. I saw on the wattage, 17, 18 miles an hour here. Just kind of moderately pedaling it, 19. So yeah. With these torque sensors, you get kind of real-world riding conditions. So if you want more of a workout, get a torque sensor. I've got 2 e-bikes now, the Velotric and then this one that have torque sensors. So you're going to burn more calories on an e-bike like this versus just a regular rear hub motor with a cadence sensor. Let's try the throttle. Throttle goes up to 20 miles an hour when it kicks out, cuts off, and just cut off. Bike's very stable. No hands. Very well balanced on this thing. No rattles at all. That's one of the reasons you know when you're on a quality e-bike, nothing rattles. And this is no exception. Okay, in order to get to 28 on these Magnums, you have to put it into boost, but then you have to hold the up button once more, or hit up twice once you hit boost, and then it's going to make it blink. So you see, now it's blinking there. Now we can get full top speed of this thing. So let's give it a shot. Get the speed app back up. All right. Thousand watts, 25, 26, 27, and come on, 28. There's 28. 28.3 to be exact. We hit about 1,000 watts on the wattage doing that. All right, let's go do a hill test and see how this thing climbs. All right, time for the hill test. Throttle only to start. Here we go. I'm in the highest level on the pedal assist. Haven't changed gears yet, but we'll do that shortly. 9 miles an hour, good pickup. Solid 8. It's climbing again. Quiet motor. Very quiet for 750 watt. I can barely hear it down there. Doing 12 miles an hour now and gaining speed. I'm gonna start pedaling, drop these gears down a little bit. Hard to tell what gear you're in because there's no indication here on the paddle shifter. But drop it down again. Now you feel like, here's where the torque sensor works against you because you gotta pedal harder if you want more power going uphill. So again, if you want to get a workout, I just dropped the first battery bar too, finally. 8.8, 8.7, 8.5, 8.3 was the lowest. There's 8.1. Alright, so 8 miles an hour, again with a torque sensor. I guess that's what to expect. So this is the first 750 I've ever had, 750 watt with a torque sensor, so not much to compare to. The other torque sensor e-bike, the Velotric, is only a 350 watt. So, all right, let's go do a downhill run and see how the brakes do. All right, downhill coast. See what kind of speed we can reach, and we'll check the brakes. .22. I'm gonna start to pick up speed as I come around this corner here. Whoa, what the fuck is that? Had a giant bug on my leg. 25. 30. 32. 33. Bike's very stable at this speed. There's 34, 35, wow, 36. Hit those brakes, wow, we hit 36 miles an hour downhill. I think that's a record for this same hill on all my e-bikes. I might have hit 37 if I kept going. That was pretty impressive. And the brakes are fantastic. I mean, zero squeaking, and they stop on a dime. All right, there it is, the Magnum Peak T7, $29.99. Comes in tan, gray, blue, and I think a forest green. They're running low on the grays, they said, so not many in stock, so they sent me a tan. Just a great looking e-bike, guys. Hard to find a flaw with this thing. I can't really, riding it, there's no flaws riding it, other than, you know, if you don't like torque sensors. Design wise, the only thing I don't like is the lopsided battery design. Kind of sticks out there. It makes the bike kind of left heavy a little bit when you're leaning against it and stuff. But that's really my only flaw, I think. I mean, this front suspension works awesome, and it's got a great top speed, so you can ride for hours on this thing on trails. I mean, it seems to be pretty efficient too with the battery. I just dropped the first battery bar. Actually, it came back, so I've already put like 15 miles on the bike, or something like that, maybe 16. And yeah, I mean, no complaints. So pick one up for yourself. I'll throw a link in the description. And check out their other e-bikes as well if you're looking for a cruiser or a fat tire or a folder. They literally have a model for anybody. And one quick note, it's a 32-inch min height on the seat post, not 22 on the seat. I'll put a correction on there, but yeah, 32 inches. I measured it when the seat post is down at its lowest. But there's your T7. Drop a comment there in the chat. Let me know what you think about the e-bike, and I'll do some rail trails and off-roading with this, some videos as well, to give you that perspective coming up soon. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching.